Hello everyone, I'm Sean here with Team Paradigm. I'm here with my teammate Tom. We recently played in an OTS at our locals. Tom, what did you play and how did you do?
Or I played Kashtira, and I ended up actually winning the event, which was quite nice, going 5-0. So like not loads of rounds, but it's a win nonetheless.
Still nice, still nice.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet. Like the 5 rounds are relatively. I mean, it was all relatively competitive. I can't
Do
even
you know what
remember
you
what my
played
rounds
against?
were. Yeah, this is something that I'm trying to remember now. Apologies, we're filming this a little bit in the future, so it's just trying to remember exactly what I played against.
Yeah,
Um,
about.
I
I think your
don't.
finals was VW, wasn't it?
Yeah, my finals was against Virtual World, which was very interesting. I know I played my other matchups were Trap Tricks, Life Twin Sprite, Naturia Runic. So that's four, and then I can't remember what my fifth round was. That's something that seems to escape me. Um, but I seem to remember it was something. It was something that was in the meta. It wasn't like just out of no. Oh no, it wasn't. I'm totally lying to you. I played against Gren Marju,
Oh,
so
yeah,
completely the
that's
opposite end.
completely.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I think that was like the weirdest one of the day. The virtual player, like, I know him. Shouts to VJ. He's been playing the deck.
Really
Like,
good
he's
player.
basically been one tricking the deck since like day one. So he's really good with it. Um, just a Rice Heart pass is an FTK against that deck. So it is what it is. But yeah, I'll just get straight into the video, into the deck profile. I mean, three of this, three of this. This is all standard. Two of this, one of this, and then we actually ended up playing two Scarecrow Kashtira. The reason for this was for branded specifically. Actually, this card is really, really good against Dragoon, and I was really concerned that if I did come up against branded, if I lost this, it would be like really difficult to kind of climb back against Dragoon. Um, but luckily that wasn't the case. I didn't end up playing any branded. So it turned out that the second was actually quite redundant. But just in general, it feels like the second doesn't actually need to be here. So this is probably something I'll cut in the future.
Would you would you consider swapping it or adding a Tier Elements Kashtira?
No, I don't think that card's very good, personally. It creates an extender, and like, granted, you could probably get deck knowledge off of it, but it doesn't do enough because you're not going for like the crazy lock board combo. All it's really being is an extender, whereas this just has more applications as it just being a body on the field, whereas like the Tillerman, it's milling cards, which just isn't really necessary.
Awesome.
Uh, but yeah, so on to the Kashtira spell traps. Three field spell, four field spell, three birth, and three theosis. I see people cutting this down to two. You're wrong. This card is just absolutely insane. You want to see it as well. Like, so I went into the event with the premise of like, if so game one I'm always doing a Rise Heart pass if I go first, but any game after that where I go first, I was trying to do the degenerate lock 9 zone combo. I ended up not actually doing that, but it was the mentality going into the event, and you want to max out on these because like there's the 3 card combo where if you see like the rate soft plus one of these plus like one name, Unicorn or Fenrir, you do the lock 9. So I just wanted to maximize my opportunity to see that, but also just like ripping this off the top with like a birth on field or like a lone Kashtira is just so good. So like you want to see it, and also it's like your recursion because you banish this off of like Scareclaw or after you resolve a Rise Heart.
E-Teller's a good card, who thought?
Yeah, right. And then the traps we played like one on one. This
Yep.
feels very lackluster. Um, Yeah, I don't know. Like you play Ogre to search this, but like you can also search this off of Ogre, so I'm actually tempted to cut this. It felt very lackluster, but can come up in the matchups where like maybe you're starting to run out of steam, and in like the grind games, if they're out in your births, just having another copy of basically pseudo birth is really nice. It can also help you win your control matchups, but playing against trap tricks in that event, like I didn't need it. They didn't really resolve many traps, I guess. But yeah, it just didn't feel right. This card's insane. This card is absolutely bonkers. When I was doing my combo and I was doing like the Rise Heart line, if I summoned Rise Heart, I would almost always banish this off of it though, purely because the interaction where like your opponent's first action is almost always going to banish a card. So a Rise Heart will trigger, you attach this, you can then banish a card face down with the Rise Heart effect and detach this. you then use this effect to summon whatever's attached to it, right? So it gives you, like, if you banish this off the Rise Heart, it gives you 2 interruptions out of just your standard combo without, like, whatever else you draw. Obviously, there are times where you want to be banishing, like, other good cards, like Birth or something, if you don't have access to it, just so you can have an opportunity to grab it later on. But when, you know, when your hand's feeling pretty nice, you can always banish this and feel safe at the fact that you're going to have at least 2 interruptions on your opponent's turn. Then just for, like, the rest of, like, generic non-engine stuff, 3 Prosp, yeah, staple 3 of in this deck, being able to, like, attach the random, like, extra deck cards that you banish off of it is really nice as well, so you play targets for it, of course. 3 Ash is the only hand trap we played. I decided to, like, I was kind of pilled on going second cards almost, kind of in the sense of, like, I want reactive stuff on my turn as opposed to, like, playing on their turn. The only reason you play this is to stop branded fusion. But it does have its applications versus, like, the mirror match and, like, trap tricks and stuff. Because you can hit, like, Parallel Exceed, you can hit Sarah against that deck, you can hit Theosis against the mirror. Like, it does have applications, so it's, like, it's not terrible to main in this format.
No imperm on Nib?
I think Nib's really bad. And I'll explain my reasonings why a little bit later on. There is a card that I played that kind of replaced Nib. Imperm, again, was replaced because I found, like, just having the reactive cards to go second just felt nicer, and having a way to be able to, like, interrupt my opponent sort of mid-chain whilst I'm playing the game was just better. Especially because all of your stuff is, like, summons that don't start a chain. They're all inherent summons. So, like, you just go, boom, summon a Fenrir, or, like, Unicorn or whatever, and now, like, your imperm is dead, so you have to, like, preemptively imperm the card you think is going to be the issue before you play the game. But yeah, on to the rest of like the non-engine. 3 of this, 3 Chalice, which is, like, the replacement for imperm. This card was just really nice, being able to, again, you know, like, mid-chain or, like, sort of mid combo, so as it were, like, trying to break the board, being able to use this. Yeah, there's not really much else I can say about that. And then 3 Lance. I think this was, like, everyone was kind of pilled on this after the Team YCS, because, like, Lance just being able to protect your Arise Heart is, like, really, really important. Book, obviously, like, being able to stop Theosis, being able to stop, like, any Link summons or anything like that. The only deck this card is bad against, realistically, is branded, but you're still able to, like, you know, maybe prevent the Mirror Jade or something just by, like, in your turn, in your draw phase, just being able to, like, book it, so they have to use it there and then to get rid of something or stuff like that. But then it still plays into the red, so it's still, like, kind of bad, but it's just better against, like, the mirror and, like, other decks. And then obviously, like, these cards, this is really good into back row matchups, or if people are obviously going to try and, like, Book of Moon you, imperm you, Chalice or whatever. This card's crazy. You just want to protect a Rise Heart at all costs. So, and then the last card was 3 copies of Gamma
In the main too.
Yes, I don't think this is very, like, special anymore. I don't think this is, like, a super spicy tech. This was just, like, I thought if I was going to play against Kashtira, I was going to be playing against a Rise Heart Pass, and, like, Nibiru does nothing against that. Nibiru as a card this format feels kind of janky because every single deck in the format is either playing around Nibiru or summons a negate before Nibiru, except for, like, maybe Sword Soul, but that deck's a buy anyways. Sorry, Sean. But yeah, so, like, you obviously you hit the Arise Heart, or, like, if you're playing against Trap Tricks, you can hit, like, the Rafflesia, whatever's causing you problems. Even if they have multiple monsters on board, you just drop this on them, and then, like, you can normally play through the rest of the board. But you kind of do it depending on what your hand is, of course. There was an argument, and I was talking with one of my teammates about this, about playing, like, a level 7 as opposed to the Gamma because there is a kind of relevance that, like, if you draw 2, you can give 1 to your opponent, and then you summon 1 to your side of the field after you've played your combo a little bit, and then you have just a free 7 to make your X-Seeds with. But we'll see how that works out. We'll do a little bit more testing on it. I do know that my teammate James, shouts to him, he ended up not doing super well at the event, unfortunately. He just got, like, outskilled, quote unquote, because his opponent drew talents. That's basically it. But he was playing Nib and he was playing Tilliment's Kashtira over the second Scareclaw, and he found it to be fine. Like, his arguments for the Nibiru is like going into rogue matchups, it is a lot stronger. But I just feel like this deck has a lot of gas on its own without like having to nib the opponent. Like, you have a lot of capability to play the deck going second, and normally it's actually more advised to like go into the mirror going second, because a lot of your cards just inherently have like a really good ability to out like basically any board. But that's it for the main. We played 41. There's just absolutely no way you can cut this down to 40 unless you're like starting to cut like engine or like, you know, your good cards like Lance and stuff. So we had to play 41. But onto the extra deck. This should be really quick as this is like almost the most standard extra deck you'll ever see. One Goliath, one Donna, and one of the BLS Link. This is probably less standard. I never made it, so this is probably coming out anyways for something else. But yeah, it was here. It existed. Two of this. You have to play two of this. It sucks, but like you have to, especially if you want to play like the degenerate combo. But also this comes up in your like not mirror matches, being able to like utilize the effect of this with your Ratesoth is just really, really nice. So you want to be able to have access to it at all times. 3, Arise Heart. This is, or should be, standard. This card is insane. This is your win con. If you're not playing 3, why? Like, because the thing is you have the argument of you can recycle the second one, but then you're committing like loads of resources, right? So like in the mirror match, you use your first one, it gets outed, they banish your second one face down if you don't have this one. Now you need a way to be able to bring this one back, right? The one that you've summoned correctly, attach this one as material, get it back banished, and then banish your Theosis to put this back. Whereas, like, I could mitigate all of that by going, okay, cool, that's fine. I'll summon the third one from my extra. It just makes, like, loads more sense to me. Yeah, it's, like, it means, like, I'm not wasting my, my engine cards. I'm trying to get this back into rotation. I just have the third one. And, like, if I get to resolve, like, the second Arise Heart summon, normally I'm winning the game, so... and then for like the more generic stuff, Big Eye, Diablosis, Draco Sack. This comes up for like killing cards like what's it called? Like Skill Drain. This comes up a lot. This is for like everything else. Normally you're making this over this unless you're playing through Skill Drain. But this card's insane. Being able to just use it as the beat stick and then clear up shop afterwards with like whatever cards are missing is just insane. Didn't realize the true value of this card until I actually played the deck, because I'd only tested like I think 2 games. I played like 2 test games before actually playing in the event, so it's just a testament to like how broken this deck is. Either that or I'm insane, which I don't think is correct. But I digress. 2 Zeus. I think obviously this is mandatory, this format. Kashtira can die to Zeus pretty easily, so they're probably likely to rip the 1 copy if you only play 1. And then the last card is Garura. Again, just another prosperity target alongside the alongside this. Again, teammate James played the Fossil Skull Knight, I think it is. It's the one that like this diffusion that banishes from grave to pop a card. I think that's actually really good. I might take that into account like with my deck building for the next event that I go to. It's a very, very good card, to be honest. So, but I didn't actually realize it existed until last minute. So, but it is what it is. And then side deck is painfully standard. 3 of this, because this comes up against those decks that end on like multiple monsters. You play this to play through the Arise Heart pass, and then like if this isn't enough against the deck, you side this in and you play for free, because like what deck realistically is ending on more than like 2 or 3 monsters, and like there's going to be 1 monster you don't care about anyways. So this for Rogue, keep that in check. This card wins you every match against Naturia Runic, full stop. Dark World lose to this card. Like pretty much every Rogue deck loses to this, so why are you not playing it? 3 evenly.
So that's a tough matchup into that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think just like I think a lot of decks have a really like bad time going up against Shifter. But like that's obviously the reason why, you know, especially last format was just like you either had to play like a Shifter deck or you had to play Tier, right? It's the same kind of concept as just like but this is the only shifter deck. So
Yeah.
it's like the polar opposite, right? It's just like you should really
If you're
realistically be playing a
cash, you
deck.
play shifter.
Yeah, basically. That's how I feel about it anyways. This card is just insane, and it rewards you for like, even if you play badly, you can still win games off the back of it. So and then evenly matched, every time I resolve this card I won. It, like, there's no two ways about it. Like, I'm very close to maining this card, especially going into like tier 2 events or tier 3 events, and this card is just absolutely insane.
Yeah, I'm gonna be adding it to my main. I think it's
Yeah, it
done me
speaks
so
like
good in my matchups.
the card speaks for itself. Like
Oh,
when
yeah.
you have like, especially even against Kashtira, just being able to like blow out all of their back row that's trying to protect the Arise Heart, and then like if you have a Kaiju on top of it, you Kaiju the Arise Heart and you play for free. It's just like, it's so dumb. And then 3D barrier. This card was mid. I didn't really like it. It came in once, and that was only because I had nothing else to side in realistically versus Naturia Runic. You can call Synchro or Fusion, but like, it is what it is. Probably coming out. And then this card, it's cool. I mean, it negates literally anything, so yeah. I don't really know what else to say about this card. Like, it felt
Just
okay.
keeps you a bit safer going first on that third matchup.
Yeah, exactly. Like game threes, like it feels very nice because you can stop the evenlies and whatever.
Exactly.
It's probably something to keep in. I didn't enjoy it. I didn't hate it at the event, so it is what it is. But yeah, it's definitely something to consider. But yeah, that's the profile. I don't think I have to tell you how many cards are on the side or the extra. So
14, right?
oh hell yeah! You don't
Oh, of
play
course.
you don't play
Every time.
any more than 14.
No. That would just be wrong. Any cards you change at all?
So in all seriousness, probably like this, maybe for Kumongus. You don't want to play Radiant because of the branded matchup. It's a dark. There is also a world where I'd probably cut like this because it just didn't do much. And also,
So down to a solid 40.
yeah, but also but there's also like cards like this. Probably
Yep.
changes to Imperm because in one of the games versus the Naturia player, they made Nat Beast, and
Oh, ouch.
like if they set up because it wasn't just Nat Beast, it was like Nat Beast plus
Yeah,
Blessing.
of course.
So there's a world in which like, okay, cool, I can out the Nat Beast, but then they just bring it back and then I still can't play. So it becomes really difficult to play through that card sometimes. So like having a card like Imperm to just respect it would probably work.
course.
And also just being able to have like interruption versus the opponent in game one if you're going second. Because like Imperm achieves you the same thing that this card does when you go first, and then going second, like you just use it as a hand trap. I feel like sometimes this deck really struggles to out boards if they draw like too much non-engine or too much engine. Like you have to draw like a perfect middle ground, and sometimes like if you draw like just an Imperm, like a well-timed Imperm can just stop the turn. Same thing with Ash. So just like increasing my chance of seeing cards like that would probably help me in those matchups. But that's probably what I'd change here. Side deck, I'd probably cut the barriers, and also contemplate moving the evenly matched to main because that card is just absolutely broken. I don't know why I wasn't maining it at this event, to be honest.
Ooh, any shout outs at all?
Obviously, well, shout outs to Team Paradigm, obviously. Shout outs to James for obviously theory crafting this list with me. We did a lot of talking about it. Obviously, we didn't end up on the exact same list, but it was like a couple of cards different. So yeah, shout outs to him for just like helping me out with the list. Like I said, I only built this deck like 2 days prior to the event and only got like a couple of games worth of testing. So he really helped me out there. And then I just like let my theory run wild with it past that. Obviously, shout outs to...
Seems to do you well.
Yeah, apparently so. Shout outs to the locals that sponsor. Shout outs to the sponsor, obviously, Geek Retreat Chelmsford. Absolute legends down there. Shout outs to Ace Comics in Colchester for holding the event. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Awesome. Well, thank you all for watching. I think you can catch some of the team at Norwich Regionals in the coming week. We're looking at hopefully uploading 1 video a week, so you'll probably get a profile after that event. And if not, you'll catch us at YCS London.